guys, Legos, bricks and toys.
All right, toy fans. So I'm here with another one of our Sluban sets. Now I've built this one on live. Built this one, built the other half of it, but they come in two separate pieces. We're going to be looking at the first half of this, and the reason why I bring this up is because tomorrow we'll be looking at the second half. One half I do believe has more play value than the other, but one is bigger than the other. One has more of this, one feels better on this. So let's kind of break those down. Now, this one I got through Amazon, and I have the affiliate link for it right there, so you can buy it out of the shop if you want to get this one. It's a pretty good build overall. But this is the thicker half of the space station, which is this right here. It's kind of like the science and living quarters. Now, the other half that we'll talk about tomorrow, that'll be, I think it's like engineering, there's something else, but they kind of attach together. We'll kind of go through some of that. Now with this one, this is the first one where I actually got my crocodile brick separator, and I love that thing. Now that I think I've lost the brick separator, but I'll find it eventually. It's somewhere around here, right? But yes, so this is our infamous crocodile brick separator set. And we get M38-B1201, 502 pieces, 7 to 13. You can go up from 13. It's not that bad. Actually, 7, there's some build techniques in this that might drive a 7-year-old a little crazy. But you get the build your own story. You get the Sluban original minifigure, which we get 4 in this set. So we get a plainclothes officer and then 3 spacesuits. Honestly, I kind of wish that we'd have gotten 2 like plainclothes officers, 2 spacesuits instead, just because I feel like there's more stuff inside that needs to be done, and we get 1 person inside. But you know, I digress. With that, of course, we get the space series here. We get space with the station there. We get, Sluban build your story bricks. We get creative thinking, critical. I mean, it's the normal stuff, right? On the back, we've got, of course, the space here. It has screenshots of things that go on in this, and this is actually pretty cool. And I say science because it's got like a little holder with the butterfly. It's got a thing for like a microscope for looking at stuff. It's got a lot of really cool things, including a living quarter up here. And we need to talk about this part as we get into the build. Then you get a bay that you can work on the satellite in, which is pretty cool. You can attach them together, which I have both, and we will look at both together at one point. And then we get our scaled minifigures. Now it says 1-to-1 scale. That's not how big those minifigures are. They're actually about yay big. They're size a little bit more to the size of like regular minifigs. As a matter of fact, let me pull one down right here. It says 1-to-1 scale, but that is not 1-to-1. So that's just something to keep in mind. And with the brick separator. And this is finally one that did have it. Now, with that being said, before we look at the toy, we need to look at the book. Now, book-wise, overall, this thing is, it's not too bad. There are some areas in this that were just... They were a little rough in that they didn't seem to make a lot of sense. There were some parts I moved around. We get more shots of the interior. We get to see how this snaps together, which is pretty cool. We get to see how this comes apart, how the things open, etc., etc. You can scan this. It's got a little mini comic, which I thought was actually pretty cool. Shows you how to put the figures together, which is pretty awesome. And then build-wise, they do the thing where they have like the grayed out section. So you see what you're building, the gray out section is what's previously built. About the time that we got around this area here, the stickers for this, because they do come with stickers, the stickers are so big, it is really hard to get those straight. And then there was another section around here when putting the roofing and stuff on that was a little rough. And then, of course, holding these pieces or these panels on here, that has some clutch issues as well. So, overall, it's a good build, but there are some definite things that I think need to be kind of addressed. And it's not something that someone who is, let's say you're a regular builder, you build a lot of these sets, you're used to it, you know like kind of what acceptable clutch power is and what can be changed. Something like this set is easy for you to change, manipulate, and make it your own easily. But someone who's kind of new into it, there's going to be some frustrating parts. I mean, that's just kind of the way it is. All in all, though, solid build, fun build. It has lots of new areas for clippings and things that you can attach to it. Areas where you can attach like studs to the outside for your figures. Places where you could put figures on the outside. I do wish that this was removable, so that way we could get in here easy. You can kind of take it off and look in there, which is fine, but just keep in mind that this is not supposed to be removed. Now, I did have clutch problems with the power on these particular doors, and it has to do with the size of these doors or these windows with everything else. Now, you can take that off, you can look inside. There's a lot of really cool details, really cool things in there. As a matter of fact, if you look in here, you've got the bunk bed, you've got a secondary bunk under there. You've got this area right here, which I thought was kind of funny. It has it's like a kyber crystal sort of thing in there, which I might be using that for something else. If you follow my channel, you know I'm working on a mock and I've got like blood stuff everywhere, so I might be using that. But we got kind of a kyber crystal right next to the bed, which seems a little odd. You've got a floating keyboard, which I thought was kind of fun, and this writing log. And then of course you can go inside, and there's like a little doorway thing in there that kind of leads into the cargo bay. And then you got this area here of controls and almost like a message from your family, which is quite cute. And again, these are supposed to fit onto here. Now, it doesn't say anything about removing the roof. I removed the roof because it's a lot easier to get into play. But it's supposed to go like this, and that becomes an issue where you're moving your figure. So for me, I would find a way probably to add some sort of like modified tiles or plates here that make that easier to remove and play. Now, as far as, let's see, look, still clutch powers on those bottoms. Now, on the bottom over here, we get some secondary stuff on the inside. And in there, and this is the part that kills me because there's a ton of really cool stuff. There's like a science station there. Let me see if I can flip this light around so we can see in there just a little bit better. There's like a science station there that's got a butterfly. There's, a microscope over here. There's like a couple of these bins and all this really grandiose stuff, and really no way to get into it. And I think this is the part that kills me, is that there's really no way to get in there to look at all of the wonderful detail that's involved in this. You got two of these bins that open, you've got a specimen cup here, you've got this microscope, which is just downright amazing. I mean, really cool details. And then on the other side, I'm going to flip this around this way. I'm going to go ahead and take these off so we can see. On the other side, you've got like a systems analyzer. You've got the stairs that kind of move you into the bay over there. You've got this, it's almost like a water purifier section here that has temperature and a plant in there. So you got a science experiment going on. Another opening bin. A lot of really cool stuff, including like little petri dishes in there. There's a lot of really cool things, but no way to get into it. So for me, if I was to rebuild this, I'd be taking a lot of this apart and having it to where I can pull this section off up here so I could actually see what in the world I was doing, because otherwise you just kind of miss out. There's a lot of like unique play value, but really no way to get your fingers in there. And even I could imagine even for a kid, as a kid, like for me, I'd have been absolutely angry and mortified by the fact that I built all this wonderful stuff, and yet I couldn't get in there to play, right? Okay, after that, moving on up, we'll look at this capsule right up here. We do have this kind of command capsule piece, and it utilizes these kind of like, they're like stud to stud pieces. One of them has come out here. Let's see if I can't press that back down, or maybe I'll just set it over there for the time being. But we have these stud to stud pieces. We've got this really unique way that this computer is built. We get another astronaut that we can put in there. And these suits do come off, and it's just the astronauts' heads, and I guess there's a way that we could hang them up. In the other module, that's kind of an easier thing to do. But it is one of those where I do wish that they would have put a little more forethought into the idea of, if we had people inside, how would they live a little bit more. Now we do have these kinetic pegs here that peg into this area right here. That makes this more or less kind of modular. So you can pull that off if you want. And then we get up here to this section. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull this part out. We'll take off the stand, and we'll look at this as a whole. Now, with this particular piece, we have our satellite that we can move around however we want. We can actually lift this portion up, and we can fold this satellite and put it inside. So we can store the satellite inside, plug it away, fold the arm down, you know, put the satellite dish in there. There's all sorts of ways to play with this. I think I personally like it with having the satellite out. But there's little to no detail inside, and that's something to keep in mind. It's just a cargo bay. I think having some areas of maybe some equipment or something in there might have made that go a lot longer as far as the play, but you know, it is what it is. They do have this really cool kind of joystick. It's a tri-position joystick, whereas we've had hinge in the past. These are joysticks that allow you to move it all over the place, which I like. And then you've got these arms that plug into your Space Cowboys here. I say Space Cowboys, it's not Dinjarin. But they're, you know, there are little minifigs. And we can take those off, so we got, you know, basic, you know, head articulation, everything like a minifig, but their heads are on a ball joint and their waists turn like this. You flip that back on, and it pegs into the top of the head. Sadly, these do not fit the Lego minifigs. They are just a little too tall in their fittings. But, and I don't know if I have I was going to check one here, but it seems like last time I checked, it got stuck, right? So we do have the options to plug this into here, and we can display these pieces by having them hold on to the satellite. Now the arm is just a series of these kind of like stems and arms, which is okay, but it does make this kind of like, flip it around, you're going to lose your guys pretty quickly. That does make that part of the play just a little odd. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, all together, you take this thing, and you've got, of course, you can see the floors in there. You just plug this right back up into there. Come on now. And then you put your little stand underneath. And then you put this under here. Now, this particular set here. This is the one that is available on Amazon. So that is something to keep in mind, that this is a Amazon-based set. So you've got your station here, and then the other one that we're going to review tomorrow, if you have just the Technic to Technic pins, they do connect together to create one large station. And we'll look at this one tomorrow, because this seems to be more the engine side of it, which is pretty cool. I think together they make an incredible set. On its own, it's still really, really, really worthy and a fun set to put together. However, I do feel like there's just some areas where we could have gotten, I don't know, just a little bit more modularity when it came to, opening certain areas for play, being able to get in and out of areas. I think that that's an important one for me. I'd love to have this to where it's more modular, and I might, on my own, kind of fix mine so I am able to take that off and play with it more. But that is one thing to keep in mind for the people who do play with their Legos and building blocks, right? Like this guy. Hey, it's my thing, right? All right, so listen, that's all I got to say about the Sluban M38-B1210 502-piece space station. We'll look at the other one tomorrow. I thank you all for showing up today, and if you want to get this one, the link for it is down in the show notes. Definitely go get one, please. I think it's awesome, and if you're going to get one from the channel. Those things really do help out in the long run, okay? Hey, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell for notifications to be alerted. Anything comes from me to you. Like this video, helps YouTube know what you're liking, what I'm making. A comment. Would you get this? I'd gotten this before Project Hail Mary, and then when Project Hail Mary came out, I rushed to get the other side because I was like, I've got to put this station together. I got to have more space stuff. So that's usually how the Aspie brain works. So there you go, right? Hey, I thank you all for showing up today. I really do. I appreciate you. You have no idea what it means to me. I love you all. Jesus loves you more, and there's nothing you can do about it. Good luck with the build, and happy brick hunting.